Hi, I'm Carolyn.
And I'm Anna.
And we're two sisters who love handcrafting and figuring things out. Everybody.
This is episode 32, and it is August 27th, and we are coming to you from beautiful, sunny Northern California. We've had a string of gorgeous days, which has been wonderful for the start of school.
I know. Welcome, everybody. 32nd episode, 2 to the 5th power for any mathematicians out there. I'm realizing I'm going to the eye doctor next week, and I'm realizing I can't really see. I definitely need a new prescription. When I look at our phone, or I have my phone right now as I'm recording us, things are a little fuzzy. So.
I went to the eye doctor
a
couple of weeks ago, and the very nice young women guided me. They're like, you need to go for a blush frame.
Yeah.
They're very in. So they helped me find a blush frame that they felt looked good with my complexion.
It's good.
I love getting some
I might go to that same place once I get my new prescription.
Yeah, they're awesome there.
All right, that was just an unusual segue.
Yeah,
anyway, okay. So our episode today, let's see, we're going to talk about what we're wearing. We're going to talk about, Anna has a couple of finishes. We have some works in progress. We have some fun plans. I think a couple shared supplies. And of course, we'll end with thumbs up. Let's see, couple big things. First, thank you so much for everybody that provided suggestions, ideas, input on our Stitch It or Ditch It 2023 episode. And that was episode 31 if you haven't watched that already. So Anna and I have been gathering, whether it's through the Instagram polls or many of you also just left these great comments. It was so fun, just all your ideas, or I love people that were like, you must do blah, blah. So it was great. So we're going to kind of pull all that stuff together, and we're still in the process of making our final decisions. And hopefully in the next episode, we'll let you know what we decided for each of our four objects. So
that's why I really like FlossTube and Instagram for that matter for the putting ideas together, because you think you have a nice variety of ideas, and then one or two people tell you something that gets you thinking in a different way, and it's wonderful. Thank you.
And it's great. We had a few people on Instagram that DM'd us with maybe a video of here's an idea of someone that's done something similar. So we got a lot of inspiration and ideas. Also encourage you might want to go out and find one object in your stash that you're stalled on and kind of go through the process yourself. Should you stitch it or should you ditch it? Remember, ditch it just means you're going to break up with it and probably give it to somebody else, or maybe compost it or get rid of it. That's okay too. So, and if you end up doing a stitch it or ditch it, maybe tag us in Instagram if you do that, or leave a comment. Because we would love to give you our input as well. All right, let's see what else we want to talk about. Do you want to talk about, I think it's actually been 3 weeks since our stitch it or ditch it.
At least.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. It's been a while since we filmed. We haven't filmed since about a month ago.
I think that's what it feels
I think we filmed 2 and then released them. So what have you been up to, Anna, over this last August?
So my last couple of weeks have been a beautiful East Coast vacation. And I felt just really sort of distant from my regular life in the best kind of way. And then this past week, it was the start of school. It's been really dense. So I'm sort of I had my first week of school cold, you might hear in my voice. I just feel like the volume was turned down on cross stitching, and now I'm starting to turn it back up. I'm going to go full volume because I really like the routine of coming home from a school day, making a simple dinner, and then just stitching for a few hours. And I'm looking forward to, after not very much routine, I'm looking forward to falling back into that routine, which I find
Yeah.
Like a very restorative evening too.
It can be a nice way to kind of, if you're having a busy day, you can just look ahead and be like, okay, I'll have that calming time in the evening to stitch. Yeah.
And while I was away, I was able to see all of our other 3 sisters, one of whom pulled out, well, actually our mother pulled from her attic a printed cross-stitch piece from the 1970s. And our sister Lynn brought it on vacation, and it was so funny. She's like, and I did what you guys did. I looked and I found a zip bag and I put all my supplies in it and everything. And she had these old like baggies, or DMC was in these old baggies in the back. It was so funny because she was like, I don't know if I'm gonna like this.
When, what did she think?
Well, here, I made a little video clip when she was first showing it to all of us. So let's watch that.
Okay.
All right. Meet one of our other sisters, Lynn. We are sitting on a porch doing some handcrafting, and she just found this very old cross stitch. Lynn, tell us a little bit about your memories of this.
So our mom just pulled this out and gave it to me. She's been saving it for me for over 40 years. I remember working on it sometime in elementary school and sitting on the floor of my room stitching, wishing that I would like doing it, but finding it so tedious and boring.
So did you want the finished product, but you didn't want to do the thing, or you just...
I think I wanted to be like my big sisters and do some stitching.
I
and
see.
I had this thing, I probably felt guilty about not finishing. I'd probably ask for it
Yeah.
or something, but I didn't really like working on it. And as you can see, I didn't do very much.
Well, I think your border is, as we call it, matching up. So that's great. All right, I'm going to come in for a little close up,
Okay.
and it's really very sweet. It's a printed cross stitch. All right. Well, Lynn, we'll just see what happens in the next few days.
Yeah.
Good luck with that.
But look at, wait.
You have a project
I
bag.
put it in a project bag. I had to dig in our closet. I said, I know I have a bag. And I did my best to make a project bag just like you guys would do.
It's awesome.
All of these things
You
were
kitted
already
it up, even though it's already
these
kitted
were
up.
already like wadded into plastic bags. So I just put it all right in there.
One thing Carolyn and I have wondered is, does DMC floss lose its strength through the years? But we're guessing probably not.
We'll find out.
We can give it a few tugs. All right. We'll see if it's any less boring for you. All right. We'll report back, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
And I'm happy to report a couple of days later, even that evening after the video, she's like, oh, I finished this flower. It looks really good. She goes, I think I'm going to do this next. And then, oh, I forgot to do a second color. I'm going to just decide whether I want to rip that out. She was totally talking our, cross-stitch language within hours. And I said to her, you'll probably finish that in a month. And she's like, a month? I'm thinking a few weeks. So she
Go, Lynn.
I told her if she finished it, I will fully finish it in any way that she would like.
Okay.
So
we're gonna have to secretly like pull her in. Like we got the hook in her, right? We're gonna like reel her in.
Yeah, she's an architect. She's a very creative person, but she doesn't necessarily do a lot of handcrafts.
Yeah. She's also like at a super busy time in her life.
True. It's a season of. She's very busy.
Yeah, very busy. Okay, fun.
Carolyn, and the last couple weeks for you?
Okay, so like August in general is really a month of transition because we're always, as teachers, you're sort of finishing off your summer and then starting off school. So we have a tradition of going to a beach in Delaware every summer. And if you look back last summer, we were there as well. We can't go to the same family vacation that Anna was in because I start school earlier than she does. So we have to go back and start school. But we had a great time at the beach and my 2 sons and their family. So just lots of granddaughter time and time at the beach. It's really laid back and a lot of eating crabs. So if you're a Maryland person, you know what I'm talking about. And then I'm back to school and I had not been working since the middle of January because I was on my sabbatical.
Long time.
But you know what? I was so happy to be back.
Great.
I was a little
surprised.
surprised. I thought I would get back there and be like, I wouldn't say I can't do this. I'd be like, but anyway, I'm so in. I'm having so much fun. I have a slightly different role this year that has been fantastic.
I wonder how much that is making you feel like really energized.
I was actually talking with some of my colleagues, and some colleagues like to do the same thing every year. I think about every 4 or 5 years, I like to change. So often I've taught a lot of different grade levels. And this year, again, I'm changing. And I think that always like re-energizes me a bit too. And as soon as the students came, because you first have some like teacher work days with just adults, and that's, fine. But when the kids come, then I'm like, oh yeah, I'm so happy to be here.
Good.
So that was great. So in fact, let's go ahead and just toast. And one of my changes this year is I'm also teaching 6th grade this year for one of the first times I've done. Well, we'll say it's the first time I've taught 6th grade. So we're both teaching 6th grade girls right now. So
to 6th graders and their awesome energy.
Yeah, if you have a 6th grader out there, you know what we're talking about. Super excited.
Just so fun. They just have rolled right into school and are just trying everything. It's just wonderful.
And you know what? If they have something in their head, you're going to hear about it.
True. True. 6th graders.
All right, the last little we need something a little bit better to toast 6th graders with than tea.
I know, that was not really well thought out. We should have had...
We needed another boba.
Or actually maybe like an ice cream sundae.
We needed an ice cream sundae. Yeah, for sure. Okay, one last little admin detail and then we're gonna get going. Is the last video, I had a crocheted blanket that I knew I wasn't going to finish. It was actually from Stitch It or Ditch It 2022. I thought I was going to finish it. I didn't, so I'm ready to let it go. And several people put in that they wanted it, and so one of you was selected. And the winner for this is Kristen, and you're Kristen Liska, Liska. I'll put it right down here. 4560. So Kristen, if you want, you can, maybe the easiest thing is if you're on Instagram, send us a DM, a direct message with your mailing address. Or if you're not on Instagram, you can email us and I'll put the email address right here. I just don't read our email that much, but I will be looking out for you if you don't direct message us. So awesome. So thank you so much. I hope you enjoy working on that project. And in the end, if it's not something you want, pass it along to the next person.
Great.
Okay, great. Anna, what are you wearing?
Okay. It's actually something I'm going to change into for the catwalk because I wanted to show you the seams and I'm like, how am I going to show the seams of my skirt?
Oh, good idea.
This is a skirt I made a long time ago and I don't remember the pattern. I think it was from one of the big 4 pattern companies like Butterwick or something like that. But there's these beautiful arc of seams in the front and the back, which I think...
Wait, where are the seams?
If you hold it all out,
Okay.
Thank you. So there's this inset panel right here. And it's fully lined, and I think this fabric is so beautiful. It's a linen from Stone Mountain and Daughter, which is in Berkeley. And unfortunately, it doesn't fit me very well. I'm still learning, even though, anyway.
Too big or too small?
It's too big. So when I wear it, it goes like this, which I find very irritating. So I'm realizing I'll wear it today in the catwalk, and then I'm ready to give it away. So I don't know if anyone in our family...
Maybe I'll try it on.
Okay, although I think I'm bigger than you, but sure.
Put some suspenders on to keep it in place. Anna,
so it was a joy to make. And I think it's one of the first times I lined something, but I realize I don't wear it very often because I find it irritating because it spins on my body. Mm-hmm. And in general, the sizing is very tricky compared to, for me, my experience is independent pattern designers. You can look at measurements and that's pretty much how it's going to fit. Some of these bigger companies, I size down several sizes and I look at measurements actually on the pattern pieces and I'm still always uncertain.
Isn't that interesting? You'd almost intuitively have thought it was the opposite. Like if you were like a McCall's or a Butterwick, you would have some, unless it's like almost like old style sizing.
But then it would usually be too small because I feel like sizes used to be smaller.
Okay.
Anyway, I know if I did more of it, I would figure out my tips and tricks, but I sell almost always from independent designers.
It's beautiful.
Thank you. So yeah, maybe even with a sweater tucked in or something. Let's maybe.
Well, when you're on the catwalk, we'll pick at you a little bit and just see. And then maybe one, we'll have to try it, have a bunch of people try it on, and then you can pick whoever it looks best on. Gets it.
Whoever feels good in it. Okay,
Yeah,
great. What about you? What are you wearing, Carolyn?
I'm wearing the Calyx sweater. I love this sweater. It's in its last.
I love that sweater
I know
too.
it's not going to last much longer. It's a sweater by Elizabeth Doherty, who is just a fantastic knit designer. I've talked about her before. This was knit in the summer of 2018, so it's been 5 years, and I wear my sweaters really hard. Northern California, even in the summertime, often you'll wear a sweater
like on and off.
On and off. You wear them like all throughout the year. And this is 2 strands of yarn by Shibui held together, and one of them is not strong. And so any hard to wear areas, it's the yarn has started to break. And last summer I went and I wove in, tried to weave in the ends and repair it as much as I can. But at this point, it's deteriorating faster than I can repair it. So I'm going to wear it as long as I can because I love it. And
Do you
such
think
a
you would
perfect
remake
layer.
it?
I would completely remake this again. The particular yarn, I love the yarn that has a really nice drape because it's a combination of linen with some, I actually think some wool and some other things. But that yarn, the 2 yarns that it was used, in fact, that whole company has gone under.
Oh, wow.
Shibui, it's gone. So I'd have to kind of really experiment and find a good yarn to substitute. I would make it again in a second.
I do agree that the drape of it is one of the things that
I like
makes
the
it so
cut. I
versatile
like
and
the
beautiful.
neck line. I like it has a little bit of something. And I like things that you can see the color that you're wearing
Yeah.
kind of peeks through.
Yeah.
It's a great layering piece. So
Okay, good luck with that.
I know. I love it. When I always tell my students, and we've been talking about, like, it was lunch one day, and I like being out there. I like making things in front of them so they see. And I just had some knitting with me, and after lunch while they were playing around, I'm just knitting. And a couple kids came up to me, and I'm like, okay, we'll get some knitting going for lunchtime too. But I go, now, anytime I'm wearing a knit object, I made it. So I'm like really explicit, and I feel like I'm not like bragging or anything, but I want them to know, like, people make their stuff and you can do it too. So that was fun. We decided we wanted to, one girl said at their elementary school, I think they had a scarf and everybody would just work on it until they finished it. Like nobody owned it. So I think I'm going to get a couple of projects going, and anybody can sit down and work on it.
Like a
And we'll do
community.
that. It's like a community project. So maybe I'll show those as we
Yeah,
go
and then
along.
if anybody needs a little boost one day, they can put the scarf on.
That's right.
Or someone's had a wonderful thing happen to them, they can put the scarf on.
Right. Or, yeah, wouldn't that be kind of cute? They were like, I'm having a scarf day for whatever
I
reason.
need the scarf.
I need the scarf. Great. All right, let's do some, we'll put the catwalk in here. Welcome back. Finished objects.
Good catch. We often forget to say that.
And we just like throw it in anyway. Anna.
Okay, I have a finish, 8 Birds by Kathy Barrick. And I did this on a piece of mystery linen, 36 count with MPIs. And I got the little set of MPIs from Hillside Rookery. And here we go. I love it. I'm realizing I am attracted to smalls and small samplers that whisper to me like, you are just so sweet. Wait, I said that in a way that I don't mean that it's whispering to me.
Is the sampler telling you you're
No.
sweet, or you're whispering
Although
to the
that's
sampler?
actually really funny, isn't it?
Yeah.
Thank you for being so nice to me. When I look at something and I just want to say to it, you are just sweet. There's a piece of my cross stitching that fits in that category, and I would put this piece in the category. And when I put this up on Instagram, Kathy Barrick wrote a comment, and I wrote a comment
seriously?
back, and I said to her, I don't think I would like cross stitching as much as I do if not for your designs. That just sort of flew out of me, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart. I know that is true. Her designs are part of the reason I love to cross stitch.
I bet that made her day. What a wonderful, like, authentic, genuine comment to give somebody.
And I felt a little shy about writing it because it's kind of intense, but it was just true. And I'm like, I'm just going to write it. I love her pieces, and this was a joy. And I don't know how I'm going to finish it. I don't know if I'm going to keep it or give it to someone. Right now, it's just in the drawer, and it's just so sweet.
It's fun to see, Anna, because last I saw it, I think you had just done a little bit of here with the blue flower. It was over here. It turned out great, Anna.
I had a few days in the summer where I just couldn't stop, and it really it's not that big, so
it's so sweet.
It's just so sweet.
That's actually, I think there's a big difference between us.
Like that's a category that is maybe not attractive.
I might like this, but I would probably, Anna like notices and appreciates the sweet in things. So, but I really like it.
Yeah. Well, you're not getting it for Christmas. No, I'm teasing.
Not sweet.
I totally agree with what you just said, and that's one of our big differences, and that's
it's
I like
okay.
that we
That's
have
good.
differences.
Yeah.
Yes. All right, my other finish is I finished Baby C's quilt. So this is another thing where I think on our last video or two videos ago, I said I'd really like to get it to her before I go on vacation. But if I'm like trying to finish the binding and cussing, I'm going to stop. I'm not going to make it such a big deal. Well, I did. I finished it like the day before we left, and I dropped it off at the other grandma's house who also who lives in our town and was going to go up and see them because they live about 45 minutes north of us. And well, let's put a picture of it. I was wondering whether to put stashing in between the 6 sections of the quilt. Decided not to. Very happy with how it looks. The way they sort of kind of flow, or your eye has to sort of readjust as you go from section to section, depending on the darks and the lights. And my son and my daughter-in-law very sweetly have sent me pictures of Baby C on that quilt, using it for her tummy time and everything. And of course, that's not why I made it, but it is really, really fun to see that sweet little baby on her quilt.
I feel like all of our children, and hey, Gen 3, we're giving you props, are super, super considerate about like sending us pictures of the grandchild, the granddaughter using or wearing the objects that we made. Now, they may just like put them on there and pose them and take them, but I feel like they're very considerate about that.
I said that to MK, my daughter, on vacation because I felt like she put toddler E in some outfits that I had chosen, and not even made. And I thought, I know she's doing that because we're together. And it's like I never want to give anything with any strings attached, but I sure do. But on the flip side, I sure do appreciate.
You can appreciate
that effort.
it.
It's just a kind thing to do. It's
That's
really,
right.
And it's very fun.
So I feel like Gen 3 is very considerate
Way to go,
about that.
Gen 3.
Thanks, Gen 3.
They're awesome.
Yeah, they are awesome. Okay. Anna, congratulations. Those are 2 big finishes.
Thanks. Yes,
that's really neat.
I felt both of them just felt like fun summer things, and it's nice that they've drawn to a close before things get really busy again.
Yeah, great.
Okay, so
all right,
works
so
in progress.
we now have some whips.
I can't wait to see, because I haven't seen Carolyn's whips, and I just can't wait to see them.
Okay, my first whip is Merry Christmas Wishes by the same said Kathy Barrick. In fact, the first 2 whips I'm going to show are Kathy Barrick's, and I think I feel the same way, and I love Kathy Barrick's designs. We've even had an episode about Kathy Barrick, and she really has drawn me into cross stitch as well. This is the pattern, Merry Christmas Wishes, Kathy Barrick. You'll see in a minute, my variation is slightly different. Let's see if you can spot the differences.
You can tell we're back in school if we're asking you questions like that.
I know. Can you look closely and tell me what's different? So I'm almost finished with it.
It is so beautiful, Carolyn.
I'm really, really happy with this. The changes I made is I actually picked my own colors of MPI silk. They're in the same family. The pattern only uses 2 colors. It's probably, in hindsight, I wished I had gone just a tad greener on my turquoise, but I'm happy. And then a gold color. I needed like a slightly darker color to just ground everything. So I picked that chocolate brown that I used in the base. And then I also left off the words. It said Merry Christmas Wishes, and I just kept it without the words.
Did you put the little doodads? Okay, no, just you ended with the deer.
I ended with the deer. That's right. Here were the threads. So I used this turquoise, the dark, and then at the time I had picked 2 options for the gold, but this was the clear winner on the linen I picked. And just a few details, it's stitched on 36 count sand dune by Lakeside Linen and with the MPI silks. Now here's, and you might be like, Carolyn, that looks done to me. But here's my decision point. The pattern up in the top, these empty spaces of triangles, there's a date and it's 1860. I'm not gonna put 1860. So my question to you all, to Anna, is it done as is? Is that open space okay? Should I put a date? Could I do 2023? Should I maybe think of a little motif to put in here? Maybe stars, snowflakes, something.
Some more birds.
So that's my dilemma. Here it is. Leave it blank. Add a date, a more meaningful date. Put some other doodah.
Okay.
Okay. What's your thought?
I like negative space. So to me, it doesn't scream like, it needs something. However, I think I would have a slight preference to putting something in there. You could also consider maybe a pair of initials, depending on who if you're going to give it to somebody.
One of my daughters-in-law, this is one project this is actually my WIPCO. This is on my August WIPCO, and it was to stitch 7 days, and once I got going, I couldn't stop. And I took it on vacation. It was a great vacation stitch because it's just one color. And once you get going on these, you don't need to look at the pattern. So often we're at the beach, and we're really lucky the house where we stay is a block and a half from the beach itself, so you can constantly go up and back. So in the afternoon when the 4 girls were sleeping, I would have the 2 monitors, and then the parents would go up and have some Gen 3 time together up at the beach. And I would stay on our back porch and stitch. So it was great.
All right, I think you should do like flying birds, like one bird here, or maybe just touching down here and one bird here.
Okay, so adding some more birds. Okay. I might put a poll up on Instagram, or feel free to say in the comments. I'm going to let it sit for just a little bit before I finalize what I'm going to do. One reason I was thinking about the beach is one of my daughters-in-law there, she's like, oh, I kind of like that. So I might offer it to her and see if she wants it. So she was almost like she gave me an in-person heart eyes.
Heart eyes, that's
like,
right.
If you give me a heart eyes, but at the same time, I really like this.
Which daughter-in-law?
B, local.
Okay.
The local one. We should ask them if they mind if we say their names. We should revisit that with them.
Right, because there are a few more videos coming. We shared the video of our sister Lynn, but as we were on vacation together as a big family, the part that Carolyn had to miss, I made a couple other little videos, and I said, do you want me to say, Kay, or your name? And she said, my name. So maybe they are okay with me.
So we should ask right when we started filming, before they kind of knew what we were doing, we just asked, how do you feel if we mention the grandkids by name or you by name? And they're like, oh, let's just do initials. So we should maybe revisit that. So that's why we just say initials. It was their choice.
Good time for a recheck.
A good time for a recheck. All right. That was Merry Christmas wishes. Yeah.
Maybe with the chocolate brown.
Oh, I would definitely. That was the other thing I felt like up here, something that was maybe either the chocolate brown or a combination of the brown and the gold would really help balance that off. I also think like a simple 8-pointed star.
I'm
really
just
simple.
Thinking about the star. For some reason, I want it like attached, like it's sticking out or something.
I'm not going to do that. Sorry, Anna. I like the attaching. I think so. Maybe even like symmetrical 8-pointed stars or some variation. So that's why I want to sit and stew about that a little bit.
I can't wait to see what you decide.
Okay, let me get the next one.
And I can see why you're paused there, because there's nothing shouting to me.
Right. My next one is also a Kathy Barrick. And this is another one. I forget even what made me pull it out at some point. I cannot put it down. I love this. It's such a comfort stitch for me.
It's looking great. Oh my goodness.
I know. And you're like, what are you talking about? All right. So this one is another Kathy Barrick. It's in my Me Made bag with Teresa Kogut fabric. And this is Crow number 5, also by Kathy Barrick. And I got a silk kit from Hillside Rookery, Olivia B, for this. I'm really happy with it. Here is where I was last time. And here is the progress now. I've done a lot.
Yeah, I've done a lot.
Details for this. this is on 36 count straw. Sand dune and straw are so similar. You can tell I kind of have enjoyed on this color. It just has a tinge of sort of like an orange undertone to it, or a yellow gold undertone, maybe would be the way to describe it. I'm using the called for MPI silks in general, with the exception, the insides of the circles, of the octagons. This was the called for, but I wanted some more color. So I've also introduced 2 oranges that I'm just kind of using in a combination to the gold.
They're looking really good. I think you've really sort of solved that.
Yeah, I feel very happy with that. And let's see, here are the threads. This was the called for that was used in the center. And I think because my linen has that gold orangey undertones, this is not reading orange like it might on another color. And then I've taken, these are the 2 I'm adding in as well. This one I'm going to just stitch till I finish it. I'm very close. I have the tail and then a few more octagons. I think another couple in here and another big one down there. And the person who I thought of as the recipient for this, I asked them when I saw them on vacation, is this something you might want? I'll send you a picture. And they're like, yeah, I think I might want it. And same thing, we've talked about this before. I love when you start to add the thread, the weight and the feel. Excuse me.
I'm like, why does that feel so good? I was just thinking about that. I'm going to show some knitting here in a moment, and it's getting weighty, and it feels great.
Yeah.
Maybe it's, I don't know.
Yeah. It's so cool. I love this idea that you start with this blank, you start with some color. And
parts and pieces.
And there's parts and pieces, and it grows. So I was thinking a little bit, this is just such a comfort stitch to me, and I like to think about like why, so that helps me pick out patterns in the future. So for me, it's a combination of like no-brainer, these octagons, once you see, oh, it's a this, you can just stitch it. And so it has that sort of symmetry, which I like, and variation of design element. But then sometimes when you're stitching like the wing, you have to think. So sometimes you're just no thinking, sometimes a little thinking. I love big sections of color. I love filling.
Hey, you've always said that.
Yeah.
And I'm sort of medium on it. But you know what? I always forget that you can outline it. And I'm always going back and forth like this, saying, okay, like butting out 1 over here and 2 over here, or something like that.
I do that sometimes too. This one in particular, I just wanted to see the shape and get started. And this also, once I do the tail, like I'll then come in and sort of put in some of the tan and then some more black. It sort of begins to be striped. So that's just the beginning, the first row of my stripe.
Oh, I forgot a stripe. Okay.
You know what I mean? So now I know I'll come along that, and then the black can come along that.
Great.
So crow number
you're
5,
getting close.
Kathy Barrick.
I know. It really reminds me of the person you're gifting it to. So
it's interesting. One of my, Merry Christmas Wishes was one of my WIPCOs. Another WIPCO for August for me was to start and finish Seasons of the Heart Fall. And I got back from vacation and I'm like, I don't want to start something new. It was really interesting. I sort of had this momentum on some of these. And I think I've also kind of starting to reach my saturation. I have enough things going. I'd like to get that momentum of finishing things. So I kind of made an executive decision for my WIPCO and said, I'm not going to do that right now. It was a little bit hard. It's funny because I'm like, no, that's a number called. But then I'm like, actually, maybe I'll do it in September or
I'm
October.
happy to hear you say that, actually. I think that's great that you're able to do that.
Yeah. All right, everybody, enjoy my sweater one more time. It's getting a little warm in here. It's coming off.
Okay, we're whipping up some enthusiasm, getting warm. Okay, my next one is, I don't know if it's Margaret or Marguerite Meadow, 1804 by Jeanette Douglas Designs. Here is the chart.
I love this one, Anna.
It came out at Market in February, March, whatever that was. And at our last trip up to Needle in a Haystack, Carolyn and I picked out some wools. And so, I mean, I just kind of looked at this picture. Oh, I'm gonna get a couple blues, a couple greens, a couple, dark brown. And then I'm just going for it. And I need to say, Katie Strachan, avert your eyes.
Why?
I don't know. Because I'm not sure the colors go together at all. But I'm having so much fun.
Oh, Anna, no, I like it.
So here's where it is. And this is on 28 count Autumn Gold by Legacy Linen, Lakeside Linens. And the wool is Bellalusa wools, 1 strand over 2. I brought this on vacation because I didn't think I would need a magnifier. And a commenter suggested that you and I move up to a slightly larger needle on this, which I liked.
So you're using a 22, that's right. So we originally bought a 24.
I'm remembering correctly. Anyway, I just kind of laugh every time I work on it. And it's bringing, I don't know. To me, it's bringing me so much joy, but it's not like pulling together for me yet. But it has a lot of color.
Yeah.
So
I love the texture that the wool is giving this.
Really,
and I love it's on this darker fabric. I think it makes the colors really pop.
I'm definitely going to keep going on it, but as you can tell, I'm having some uncertainty about it.
Keep going.
Okay.
I think it looks really good.
What do you think about this much grayer green? Because
that's the one. It's interesting because showing it, I guess it's this one, right?
And it's on the leaves of that one as well.
The leaves on that one. When you put it up here on the camera, it's hard to see.
Because I have so many brights.
Oh.
I even called Needle in a Haystack. It's wonderful. I emailed them. I said, can you send me some light pinks and some light yellows? Because I just didn't know if I needed to like tone things down a bit or gray things a little bit more. So that's one of the things I'm messing with.
I mean, I do think in general when you have bright colors, it's nice to add some of the drab neutrals because that helps to pop the bright.
Because the chocolate brown's definitely working that way.
The chocolate brown's good, but I feel like the gray green is getting a little bit lost. Let's look, when we're done, let's look at some of my wools too and see. Like, I think this chocolate brown is awesome because that's giving you the neutral and it's dark enough.
So I might replace the gray green with this lighter green because this is the green of the middle flower.
I would try that.
Okay.
I would try that.
Maybe some of the leaves
particularly
here,
for the leaves.
and then I can reevaluate.
Yeah.
Like, is that going to be really a lot with the orange?
Yeah. No, it's not going to be, this whole thing is going to be bright, but I think that's the nature of the design in some ways. But it's funny on this goes out pretty much. That stem is also ghosting out.
I think that's one of the reasons I picked that particular color.
Yeah.
And I was mostly finding colors that I liked with this linen color. I was holding the linen and opening the drawers and saying like, oh, I like that, I like that, I like that. More than if the colors were working together.
So I would be tempted to keep what you've done for this part that ghosts out just a little bit. I would change the leaves on the center plant to be, because this whole thing pops, and I think having a few bright green leaves would also help balance the pop.
Okay, I'll try that first. Or the next leaves here.
I love that design.
Yes, I like it very much. It's a sweet, and it's a good candidate because an idea is growing, which we've mentioned before, and it's growing in my brain, of doing a series of smalls that are just single flower pots plucked from samplers. And there are 3 candidates right there, and this pattern also comes with a 4th. There's a sampler and a small, because these were taken from a large sampler, and Jeanette Douglas reimagined them a bit. So anyway, working with the wool on a smaller count, the 28 count, has been a blast. And I feel like it grows so fast because of that.
I like it.
Okay. So
as we've been teaching our 3-year-old granddaughters, please may I take a turn when you're finished, Anna?
Yes, you may. You may have the pattern next.
Okay, so staying on the theme with wool, it just so happens my next whip is also stitched in the same wool. And this is my Pennsylvania Dutch marking sampler. And this is a sampler that I've designed. And here it's just, I can show you the chart because it's mine.
I think that's sort of fun that you can just hold it.
Take a picture and copy it. Okay. The idea for this marking sampler is I'm finalizing the alphabet and the letters I'm going to be using to make my matrilineal line sampler. And this is where I was last time. And here's where I am now. I finished that top section. This was one that I worked on before I went vacation, did not take it with me on vacation. And it's also stitched. This is just stitched on 28 count platinum by Zweigart. It's Zweigart, and I'm also using the Bella Lusa merino wools and stitching 1/2. I love putting those little motifs in. Were great.
I like seeing a band finish.
And then next up for me is the center band of variations on a theme. And my same thing, I'm kind of deciding colors as I go. I same thing, went to needle in the haystack and just pulled a bunch. So here are some of the ones I've used so far. And then another one, some more I've used so far, some golds and browns. And then left, I have some brighter gold and maybe some variations of blue and a darker green. So I might use them all, I might not, just experimenting. This isn't necessarily I don't think I'll stitch the final sampler in wools because I think it's gonna be bigger. I have an idea now what I might, I'll have to see where that goes. But I've really enjoyed this process of my marking sampler.
When you say final sampler, when you actually put the names of
when I actually do the matrilineal line, the family tree for that.
I think just the whole story, the fact that you've designed this and the alphabet plucked from Pennsylvania Dutch sampler, the whole thing is just beautiful.
Sampler.
Beautiful.
Sampler snack. Can't wait to get back.
When you have it set, are you gonna roll it up?
I think I'm gonna either hem stitch it or I might just back it with fabric, but it's definitely gonna be rolled, and I'm kind of developing my work basket. I think I know, I think I'm gonna order one of those larger kind of Quaker with the handle work baskets and start filling that with things. And this is one of the items.
Great.
That will go in there sooner than later. All right, so this is the Pennsylvania Dutch marking sampler.
Okay. My next work in progress.
I just want to show.
Oh, I'm sorry.
This I'm keeping it in a bag made by Chris, the camping stitcher. I won it in one of her giveaways and have really enjoyed using that. Okay, now I'm done.
We see that you're enjoying your retirement, Chris. It's awesome.
Yeah. Oh, she is just on a roll.
Totally. So
oh
fun
my
to watch.
gosh, it's so fun. I can just imagine her as she was thinking about retirement over the years. She says she has an idea notebook and she's been putting ideas. And if you don't know, go watch the Camping Stitcher. She's actually done some designs, which is super, super excited. And it must have been she retired and she's just like,
It reminds me a little bit about your creative surge during your sabbatical. All of a sudden you have these hours in the day and you have all these ideas. All right, Baby C is also getting a little knit stroller blanket along with her quilt. And this is what I worked on vacation.
oh, good.
It's the baby bobble blanket by Sheep and Stitch using Barocco Pima 100.
You've done a lot,
I know.
Anna.
It just is going great and I'm loving it.
This is fantastic. It feels so good.
Yeah, thanks. I got the hang of the bobbles, which is awesome. There was a little bit of joking of like, I can't talk for a minute. I'm on the bobble row, just as I predicted. Yeah. And I don't knit that much, and just that click, click, click of the needles over vacation and feeling the bulk, like we were saying, and like the excitement of you get to the end of the row and you flip it and you're on to your next row. It's just been really, really fun.
You're getting close.
Yeah, I think over 2/3.
Yeah. Oh, it was so fun to see.
I also delivered the cowl that I was making for my daughter MK, and I borrowed Carolyn's washing supplies and blocking supplies before I left. And you think like, I don't even know if I need to block this. That water was so muddy. It was hilarious. It was gray. And our mom was like, oh, maybe some of the yarn color, came out. And I'm like, no, just all the touching. And I think about this on vacation, holding dusty toddlers and then like knitting this. I'm sure this thing.
And I think it's also, this wool, it's not necessarily also just your touching. The wool's been through a factory. It's been packed. It's been on shelves.
Oh, I hadn't thought of that.
And also the wool, it just relaxes and reforms. It's so nice.
Cotton too, right?
This is cotton. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Nice. What did MK think of it?
She's happy to receive it. Of course, it's 95 degrees where she lives right now, but that felt really good because we told a story about that cow in another floss tube. She lost it and was really sad about it. So she has her replacement, and she looks so great in neutral. She has this, like her tees and stuff are these really interesting reddy browns and everything, and that wool reminds me of her.
Mm-hmm. It's good. Anna, great. Do you feel like, are you momentum on this, or are you just going to keep going?
Yes.
With a blanket?
You know, sometimes in the evening after I cross stitch for a bit, this is just kind of easier. I have to pay less attention. So I could see myself cross stitching for a couple of hours and then doing 6 rows or something.
Are you comfortable to take that to like teacher meetings and work on it there?
Yeah, I probably can. I forget that I have teacher meetings to go to.
Oh yeah. Anna, the color of that too also kind of reminds me a little bit of the family of pink that you had in the quilt. I know it's not the same color, but there's something about it that feels familiar.
It's actually really similar, and I sent JNS the colors that this Pima cotton came in, and they hadn't seen the quilt yet. And they picked the color, which made me feel good because they wanted to be surprised by the quilt. And I'm like, okay, I think I'm on the right track for the colorway of the quilt.
Cool. Okay,
Right, you have a
my
couple
next
things-
project. So I have a couple more things, and these are things I've made just a little bit of progress from our last video. I still think it was worth showing. The progress happened before I went on vacation. Really, vacation was a lot of those first two that I was working on. This one is called Quaker Housewife.
Please, may I take a turn when you're finished?
Yes, you may. This is by Chessie and me. And Cindy of Cindy C Stitches, she stitched this first and then passed the pattern to me. And then when I finish, I'll pass it to Anna, and then when Anna's finished, and I think we're going to keep a running list of who stitched it and where you are, and we'll see how it moves around, maybe even the world, and gets stitched. So here's where I was last time, and here is my progress. I've worked more on the alphabet and got down to the first Quaker motif down here. Few details on this is it's stitched on 27 count Cloudburst by Legacy Linens. With a called for over-dyed cottons.
I think that fabric is a great choice for those colors.
Very happy with the, here.
You did some good floss tossing.
I did, yeah. Thank you, Needle in a Haystack. There are the flosses. Right there. I love it. I learned a little bit more about Legacy Linen from our expert, Katie Strachan, who sent us some more information. Thank you, Katie. I love it. So Legacy Linen, it's a company that's actually, it's sort of run by Access Commodities, and it's their brand of linen through them.
I haven't seen this yet. I'm like,
oh yeah, let me hear this. And the majority of their linens are made in Italy. So it's not as Weigart based, it's a completely actually different process. So what this linen does is the linen fiber, the thread, is first dyed.
Thus you can get the cloister cream.
Hence, exactly. And then it's woven with the pre-dyed thread. And as Anna said, cloister cream, the warp, which is your verticals, is a different color from your weft, which is the horizontal. And it also started to make me think about and explain, when you touch the Legacy Linen, it has a different hand to it. And it's because of the process, right? It's the fabric is not dyed. The threads that are used to make the fabric are dyed. So
we're huge fans. I love Legacy Linen.
And this kind of stuff is super interesting to me. I'm just a nerd. No matter what I get into, I just love learning all this stuff. I know I actually got on Access Commodity website. They only wholesale. So I kind of want to get like a sampling.
I thought you'd say a wholesale license.
No. Well, who knows?
Maybe.
One day.
I used to have one.
But I thought, I think I want to get some more of this in our stash, and just also to be able to see the colors better, because I really, that 38 count, I like stitching on it.
Maybe we should just get like a dozen colors.
I think 38 count. They have
too many.
Well, they have 14 colors. So I don't know.
Okay. Well, maybe we can use some of our Whipco jar.
You know what? Well, we'll have to decide. Well, we should first have to pay for our little getaway.
Gotta make a reservation.
So, anyway, I thought that was really interesting. Sorry.
Every time I see it at a store, I try to memorize what the colors actually look like. So I really like your idea of.
I love, sometimes Katie, when she's making decisions, she has variety of, she has a big palette of it. I don't know if she may stitch exclusively on legacy linens, probably not exclusively, but she does a lot of her work on that. And I love just being able to see all those variations in the color. You know, and I think one of our next tasks is to do our next level of organization of our linen. I think our linen stash has gotten big enough. Right now we just have like one box with it. I think we now are ready to re-up.
And I think we're almost running low on 36 count or 37, 38 count. Like I think let's spend some time and energy choosing some, and your idea is a great start.
Okay, so that's quick.
Next time we're at stores, let's get 3 colors or something.
Of the legacy linen,
or no, I was thinking of even other things too.
Oh, getting some other 36. Yeah, and linen, I love seeing it in person.
Have to see it in person.
Yeah. Okay, so that's Quaker Housewife. I'm gonna get
thanks for that tidbit. I
know, and
I like
Katie,
that.
thank you for reaching out and letting us know that. I love that.
It must have come in when my volume was turned down in cross stitching.
You know,
it's a big
I feel actually a little bit embarrassed because she emailed us and I just don't look at her email. It's just not in my rotation. I need to do that. And when I went and noticed hers, there was also a woman that she had emailed us like in June, and I hadn't responded. And then I responded at the time, but I felt really bad, and so I just need to improve on that. All right, my next one is, this was from my July WIPCO, and my July WIPCO was to pick a portion of a large sampler and stitch it. And I picked a portion from the Red Deer sampler, GGR, and I'm stitching this enormous vase of flowers down here. And here is my progress from last time. And what I've done since then is started to fill in these top lollipop flowers. There'll be 2 more that come in down like this, but I couldn't. I was doing all the greenery and I'm like, I gotta put some color in there.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
This is a blast to stitch on.
It is quite something.
It's so
fun. Flower pot.
Yes, and I can't wait to there's even more. It's just going to be boom right at you. This is 36 count Weeks Confederate Gray. The thread are the overdyed cottons that are called for, and I'm stitching 1/2. Anna had all the threads. She was working on this, and so I've just been borrowing her threads as I go along. So here's the palette.
Shared supplies.
It's just so grungy in all the best ways. Those greens, the linen, and then you start adding the color to it.
It's looking fabulous.
Fun. And I think you were just mentioning this. I'm going to start doing the same thing, like looking at big samplers, and I'm drawn particularly to the flower pots. And wouldn't it be cool just to have a bunch of smalls of different flower vases from different samplers?
It's a very attractive idea. In fact, on my phone, I started a note, and when I'm watching FlossTube, I'm writing like flower pots, and putting the names of the samplers.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. Or even like you could imagine like a mosaic wall that had the flower pots in it. So that's that. This is in my Stitch Folk bag.
That's a great one.
People talk about her bags a lot, and I completely agree. They feel really substantial. They're very high quality, and they're a slightly larger size lengthwise, and so I'm finding I'm putting my patterns in vertically rather than a bag horizontal.
Yeah, I want to try one.
And I like that. I highly recommend her bags. All right. Those are my whips. Oh, and Anna has one more.
Carolyn and I are both doing Fruits of Plenty, and our chunk we've been working on is just this little diagonal underneath the second initial. And I have mine wrapped up in a pillowcase. But under that H there, I worked that diagonal.
Anna, that looks great.
Thanks. It was just the right amount for me. I didn't have, like I said, barely stitched at all. And there's something about getting down to the end of that diagonal, and those little white markers at the bottom is where this ends. I'm starting to feel like, oh yeah, we're doing it.
We're doing it.
We're doing it. So Carolyn's gonna give us an assignment on our next video. And I actually have a little catch-up work to do on some of our previous assignments. So I'll either just leave this be or do a little catch-up until we meet again.
I did. So I'm going to catch up, and then we'll do our next assignment. Did you get some information from Joan?
Thanks for the cue, Carolyn. When we were again away on vacation and big family together, Joan was working on her Fruits of Plenty, and she has a multicolored one, and she was making some big decisions about color. Ooh. So here's a couple of minute clip about her talking about color.
All right, here's Joan to give us an update on her Fruits of Plenty. Joan, what have you been working on most recently?
Let's see. Wow, it's nice to be back, Anna. It's like, what is this, third time?
Something like that.
To make like a little
Third or
guest
fourth.
appearance. All right, so I put the Fruits of Plenty away for a while. Not really stitching on anything else, but just kind of doing other things in my life. And just recently came back to it and realized I was at a big moment that I needed to make some final color choices. So as I think you've seen with Anna and Carolyn, Fruits of Plenty was charted for either 1 or 2 colors. And I kind of just decided to go at it and have really been making it up as I went along. But have made some pretty important decisions just about these side triangles. Decided they're all going to be in this blue-green color story that's already running across the top.
Yeah, that's pretty.
These vines down in the bottom are gonna follow along the top with that red. And then a big decision that I was going back and forth with were these 2 central hexagons.
Octagons, I know. Carolyn and I are
yeah.
always going back and forth.
Because right now they look very like red, monochromatic, blue chromatic, and I've actually decided I'm going to leave them that way.
Yeah, I like
how
it
that
too.
Goes.
Yeah.
But that was a big decision.
I'm coming closer to that one because you were working on the red one quite a bit this week, and I'm wondering if you should add in another color. But I really do like them like that.
Right,
like
and we
two-tone.
actually tried a couple of times. I had some green in there at a point. There had been some dark blue. And I find maybe as I get more experienced as a crafter in lots of different ways, the idea of taking things out is not fearful or frustrating anymore. It's almost more, let me try this, see if that works. And when it doesn't, just kind of with the same kind of sense of joy, take it out as I put it in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah, so
All right.
anyway, so those decisions were really good, especially since I'm headed back to school. So really now I feel like the rest of it is going to just flow. It's not thinking and designing as much as it is just sitting and relaxing and stitching.
Yeah, we all get those different kinds. All right, dare I ask, do you think this is a finish in 2024, 2025, or you're not even thinking about that?
I think it's a finish in 2023.
Oh, what?
I do. I think it will be done. Maybe I'll bring, my goal is that it will be arriving Thanksgiving finished and we can do one more show.
Oh my gosh. Okay, you heard it here first, everybody. All right.
Bye.
Bye, Joan.
Happy crafting.
And she's going to finish it in 2023.
She is. Okay.
I think she says it at the end of the video. If I'm
Okay,
remembering
Joan,
correctly,
we're going to
so.
hold you to that. But you know what? I think she can, right?
Yes, I do think she can.
All right, let's move on now. We're going to talk about our plans. All right.
Back to school, Sal. I'm going with, I really wasn't sure I wanted to participate, and in the end, I just cannot resist. Mary Barr, 1828.
Oh,
in the Wishing
good.
Ford. With a full coverage center there. I was able to find most of the DMC. I'm missing a red and a dark blue. So it's very neutral.
Did you get multiple?
Why, you think I need more than one?
Yeah.
I got 2 of each to start,
Okay.
and then we'll see.
I guess that's the nice thing about DMC. It's consistent.
Right, so we're going to do a floss toss after the video.
Oh,
'cause
that's what you're floss tossing.
Maybe cloister cream? I don't know.
Oh, and I'm just looking at this, and the alphabet goes around. So like down here, it's the alphabet's upside down. This is going to be so fun.
That's another thing that's been very appealing to me. There's a Christmas one by Not Forgotten Farm, I think, that has some of the characters sideways. So I'm going to mess with that a little bit. Anyway, I when I first saw the sampler, I was just like, boom. Yeah. Something about it.
And this
architectural piece of it.
say it's designed by Barrick, and it's the wishing of the wishing thorn. Was this released, Anna, this year at market? Did you say that or?
No, I think it's maybe a year old or something. 2022.
Oh, 2022. Okay, good. I'm glad you're participating. And for those that haven't heard, the hashtag BAP to school Sal is hosted by Lauren of the New Hampshire Stitcher, and it really stands for a big ass project, kind of going back to school and gathering supplies and everything. And we're like, oh, we're going back to school. We don't have any time to do this, but we're like, that's okay. We're in. We're in.
Right. And she posted, I think it was yesterday.
Oh,
she
good.
wants people to leave a comment in yesterday's post about what you're going to do, and when you start posting, she would like people to, what do you call that?
Tag her.
Tag her.
And use the hashtag. Probably a combination. Okay. Why don't I talk about my BAP and then we can do other
then
plans.
we'll do it step by step.
Okay, so for my BAP, I've been wanting to do this for so long. I'm going to do a peacock, a unicorn, a badger. And this is by the Scarlet Letter. And I've seen some other floss tubers that are also thinking about doing that. Is if you're also doing this for your BAP, will you please maybe like tag me or tag us on Instagram if you post about it, or send us a DM, because I really would love
That would be fun.
To kind of see where you are. It's really fun when people stitch the same thing to kind of follow along.
Yeah, and for that matter, if anyone's starting this one, which I think is not nearly as, well, I don't know. I couldn't even find an image on Instagram of this.
Oh, okay.
So, but maybe some people are starting it.
Last weekend I went to a needle in a haystack, and I got I'm going to stitch it in the Soie. So I'm just missing 3 colors, but they had everything else.
And what's your fabric?
For the fabric, I decided, I know some people, because it's full coverage, it doesn't matter as much what you stitch on, but I still wanted to stitch it on linen because I wanted the hand of the linen. So I picked a Zweigart linen, and I picked flax. And I picked something because I know sometimes even when I'm stitching it's 36 count, 1/2, sometimes that background color still does like seep through a little bit. So I picked just like a neutral that I thought all the colors would sit on top of. Particularly thinking about this background is stitched. It's a dark green. I just wanted to make sure that dark green, if anything was coming through, it would be fine. So I didn't want to go really light. I didn't want to go really dark.
Yeah, I'm fond of the flax linen.
Yeah, I cannot wait. It starts on September 1st. We're traveling, we're going camping for Labor Day weekend. So I'm not gonna be able to start on September 1st. So do I start on the 31st?
We give you permission.
Sneak in a couple stitches.
I think you should.
I think I'm gonna have, that way I know my linen's going, everything should be on its floss rings, and I might just do like my corner stitches to kind of get started for that.
I didn't even think you could start on Wednesday. Have a few nights worth. Something like that.
No, I want to try to keep it with the date. All right, so super excited about that. All right, Anna, let's talk about our WIPGO.
WIPGO. So if you don't know what WIPGO is, it's like a bingo board where you put some of your works in progress in at the start of the year, and then every month 2 numbers are called. And the 2 things that were called for me were to actually try to make some floss drops.
Good.
But I don't know. Actually, I barely ever use them.
Oh, that's interesting.
So I might still try to make them and give them away or something. Or I might change that a little bit. So I'm uncertain about that. And then my second thing is to finish Frederica. I'm going for a finish. And I know I'm starting to be a back to school Sal. I'm going to finish this bird this month in September.
That's nice. It fits really nicely too with Sampler September, both the BAP and that.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
What about your WIPGO, Carolyn?
Okay, so my WIPGO, number 1, the numbers were 1 and 15. Number 1 was to work on Oh Joyous Day. So I was
good.
so
I've been waiting for this to
excited.
come back.
In fact, I've been waiting as well. Oh Joyous Day by Blackbird, and it fits beautifully with Sampler September. And this is my progress where I am so far. Haven't probably worked on this maybe since last fall even.
It's really so pretty.
So there I am. Can't wait to get to the bird. I'm leaving this in here. There's a lot of personalization. I think this is where it says like, oh, Joyous Day, it's a wedding date, but I'm going to be personalizing it in some other way. TBD. I have some ideas, but not quite sure. So I'm just going to kind of leave the background open until I've stitched that. So really, really excited for that. And then number 15 was to work on Joy by Satsuma Street. But I already finished that earlier in the year. So it was like almost like a freebie. Here's my finished Joy.
I'll leave you time for Peacock Unicorn.
Exactly. What I thought I might do though is I'm finishing this as a wall hanging. I'm going to put some purple wool on the back and then do a binding that's pulled all the way to the back. So I'm going to maybe alternatively try to FFO it for sure.
That's a good idea.
This for that. So that was funny. Like, you know, the whip goes, it comes out on the 25th and I'm like, oh, it's the 25th today. It was like 10 at night. I'm like, it's the 25th. So I went and I looked, I'm like 1. I'm like, oh, Joy's Day. It's perfect for September. And then I'm 15. Oh, Joy, that's perfect. Because then I can focus on my, I've already done that. I can focus on my BAP.
That's part of the fun of Whip Go, to see those pics and to feel like, yeah.
I know. Because now we're at the part of the year, you know, our board is almost done.
Some of the things I have left are Christmas related, which I think is kind of fun that they landed in the end of the year.
Good. Okay. Great.
All right, and then of all of the things we do as a community, Sampler September is one of the ones that just connects with me. And I started this last September. It's called Strawberry House by Needle Bright. And so I'm going to bring this to the forefront and work on that a little bit too.
Okay, good. So September you have your BAP, which is a sampler, Frederica, and your Strawberry House sampler.
Right.
Nice. Anna?
So much to look forward to.
So much to look forward to. All right, I think we have a couple shared supplies and we'll do our thumbs up. We're done. What are some of your shared supplies?
Okay, so I got a few more wools for Marguerite Meadow. I showed those. The DMCs for Mary Barr, showed those. Okay, this was a gift. My colleague grew up in Okinawa and she was home visiting her family over the summer. And she brought these back for me. They're bias tape. And she told me they reminded me of the Sashiko stitching that she had seen me do.
Oh, wow.
And then we got in this big conversation about old kimonos in her family and the way colors are used in garments for different seasons and for different reasons in Japan. And
that's
something
beautiful.
is brewing there. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll be really curious to see how you use this. Oh, Anna, this is beautiful.
Yeah, it was very touching to me.
Wow. Almost sweet.
I would say, in fact, sweet.
It was sweet.
Okay, Carolyn, what about you?
Okay.
Oh, you went to your big
couple things. Yeah, so last Saturday, I went to Needle in a Haystack, and then not far from there in Oakland is a fantastic store. It's called A Verb for Keeping Warm, and they do natural dyeing, so I picked up some yarn there. And I thought I'll show you the yarn and what projects I'm going to be knitting with them. My iPad, I have my projects here. I know their yarn is beautiful.
While she's getting set.
Okay. Plus, there's a fun cafe right next to it that I like to go to. All right, the first thing I'm going to do, Chick Knits. She has these it's a really simple beanie pattern that it's a 1x1 rib, and the top has just an interesting shaping that just gives it a little bit of a, like, the little trendy poof that you have at the top of that. So I'm going to
When you say 1x1 rib,
it's like knit one, purl, knit one, purl, knit one. And so it makes it a really stretchy, I've made this beanie like so many times. I love it. So I've picked their yarn for this. It's called Annapurna. And this is an indigo, all of it's naturally dyed. And this is an indigo dyed yarn, 2 of them to make it. And this is a combination, I believe there's some cashmere in here. Merino wool,
feels very
and
soft.
a little bit of cashmere.
That's gonna feel
so
nice.
I'm making this as a beanie for a gift for that. And then the other one is, I saw this pattern, it came like in an email, and it's called the Millie Kerchief. It's this little like kerchief, and it's by Coco Knits. Let me see if I see some more pictures. There were just some different variations.
There's some bobbles on that one.
There's some of the bobbles. She striped them, and I'm like, can you imagine with this little t-shirt, you got a little kerchief?
Have you ever worn something like that before?
No.
I'm curious.
But I do like to wear shawls, wrap around. I like that bit of color.
I'm actually intrigued by that because one thing I don't like shawls and scarves because I feel like there are things in my way, like touching my arms and stuff. But that would work.
And she actually used a yarn from Verb, and this is called their floating yarn. This is a beautiful yarn. I've knit shawls out of this before, and this is alpaca, silk, and cashmere. And so that's the yarn. That's a lot of yarn to knit that little kerchief. So if anybody else wants a kerchief, I'll probably be knitting a bunch of that. So that was just, I thought, a little pop of color. super
I don't know
excited.
how many times when we're making a video, I wish we could all just be in the same room and pass some of these things around. You know, see them in person and touch them and see the subtlety of the color.
They've just started doing some interesting things. They do their dye houses in their shop. You can't see it, but the studio space is there as well. But what they've done now is you can see all the possible colors they can dye, and you can pick a base of yarn and a color. And it takes 4 to 6 weeks, you know, of course,
so nice.
but they will dye, especially if you're making a sweater, maybe you need 8 of it, they'll do it. And then they've also been dyeing for about a year now embroidery floss. So it was great to see all of their.
Did you get?
I didn't buy any. I held myself back.
I haven't been up there in a couple of years.
We should go because I'd just been to Needle in a Haystack and bought all that. So I was watching my budget. I'm thinking about using it though for my matrilineal line sampler. The colors are spectacular and all natural dyed.
I'll have to look online to get a sense of it.
I have a small bundle of their naturally dyed floss. I think I got it like 2 years ago. It was kind of like 5 colors that came together. I think they were just starting the process, so they were kind of maybe exploring what it was like. I haven't stitched with it yet, so I do need to stitch with it and see what I think. But so
is it made of cotton or silk?
It's cotton, so I wouldn't be surprised if they started with DMC and then did their natural dyeing on top. But the colors, beautiful. Okay, thumbs up.
Alrighty, here we go. Back east, which is where Carolyn and I grew up, there are just certain things in the summer that when I get back there, I just like sort of soak them in for the year. Sitting on a screen porch, the sound of cicadas, and evenings that are warm. Now, I love that our evenings cool down and we reach for our sweaters, but there's something about being in like a sleeveless summer dress and not having to have another layer in the evenings. It feels very special.
Do you find like, same thing, we're at the beach, anytime like we go for a walk or something's starting to get dark, I'm like, oh, I gotta get a sweatshirt.
Or my puffer coat. Where's my puffer
Where's
coat?
my puffer coat? Where's my down coat? And then you just, it's like so ingrained in our bodies. We forget that. Nice.
I think we said before when our kids were little, we always had sweatshirts in the car. Anyway. My second thing is just the Fellowship of Makers. And we're gonna insert two videos in a row, one of Javi and one of Catherine, 2 members of our family. And they were both knitting on vacation. Well, let's put the videos in.
All right, this is Javi. What you got going on?
I am knitting the halibut sweater by Boylan Knitworks.
So cute. And you've got like a brown and a blue going. What yarn are you using?
I'm using the Fiber Company. Luna, I think is the name. It's cashmere and a little bit of alpaca and merino.
Whoa. Okay, so are you? I was gonna say, is it top down? But no, it's bottom up.
it's top down.
It is top down. Okay.
It has a mock neck. It has 3 different options for neckline. So I chose the mock neck.
I see.
Yeah.
It's fun to see the blue coming in.
It is. It took me a while to decide between the blue or the red, so I went with blue instead.
Yeah, I'm loving it. All right, so maybe we can get your final pick whenever you're done. Let me know, okay?
Yes. Okay, I will.
All right, looking great.
Thank you.
Authenticity.
Meet Catherine. Hi, Catherine.
Hi.
What you working on?
I'm working on a no pearl ribbed blanket for my friend as a wedding gift to her. She's getting married on September 10th, so I don't think I'm gonna make it in time.
You never know. We always maintain
You never
hope,
know.
right?
She also said no rush, so I took her at her word.
Is she a handcrafter too?
She just started, actually. She has been wanting to make clothes for years, and just this summer made her own skirt. So she's been diving into sewing, and actually at her bridal shower recently, she made her own outfit too.
Oh,
so
wow.
just in the past
Cool.
month, she's become a sewist.
And then she'll have her throw.
And in probably a year, she will have her throw. Hopefully, a year is aspirational.
Okay, so it looks like you're using a fine wool.
Yeah, I think it's sport weight, but kind of closer to fingering.
Okay.
And this is a Pearl Soho free pattern. And this is not the recommended Pearl Soho yarn, but it is a Pearl Soho pure wool yarn.
Oh, it's going to be beautiful.
It's greenish.
Yeah, I'm gonna go close up.
You can see I made a mistake already, but you know,
Don't we all?
That's what makes it made by hand.
Yeah, that's beautiful texture. All right.
Squish.
I gotta squish it. Yeah, beautiful. All right, thanks.
Yeah, no problem.
And there's just something about even just sitting on the same porch and looking across and seeing someone else making something that I just find really peaceful. And it was so fun to have some chit chat about making.
Yeah.
My third thing, sort of a funny thing, I'm gonna say Bluetooth connection. In California, our cars have to pass smog. I don't know, it's probably different rules in different states. And I had an old car I was really attached to, and it didn't pass smog. So I have a new car, and it has a Bluetooth connection to play music. So I don't even, this is probably old news. For me, it's incredible. I don't even have to take my phone out of my purse, and my music options come up, and I can just press play.
That's incredible.
It's Bluetooth connection. It feels like magic to me. And I know I'm not super techie. I can't tell you how much I'm enjoying it. So I'm gonna say Bluetooth connection.
Nice. I can't wait to ride in your new car, Anna. You're gonna have to drive the next time.
Yeah, next time we go on an outing.
Hey, let's go up to Fillmore Bakery and you can drive us up there.
Okay.
We can get a treat and come back down.
Shortbread.
All right, so
Carolyn.
my thumbs up. Okay. I'm a little
I
embarrassed.
want one of these after the video.
I'm a little embarrassed, but I just have to be honest. I am so into strawberry frosted Pop-Tarts right now. When we're at the beach, it's like one of those beachy foods, and one of my kids, we have a big Google Doc of the shopping, and he's like, strawberry frosted Pop-Tarts. So we got him. We ate, and then somebody else was like, what's the other one? Like brown sugar cinnamon frosted Pop-Tarts.
Those were popular back in the day.
We went through box after box of them. I'm embarrassed to say. And I got home and I'm like, I'm getting some Pop-Tarts for myself. So
Do they last a little longer?
they last a little bit longer. I find I really enjoy a toasted Pop-Tart in the evening as a dessert. Like I've eaten dinner and then maybe I've been stitching and maybe 8 o'clock. I'm like, I just need a little Pop-Tart. But I have 2 left in here. Once they're gone, I'm cutting myself off for a while. You can help yourself.
Okay.
So,
Thank you.
do you like Pop-Tarts too? All right, then my next thumbs up is after being gone 7 months, I am just soaking in the middle school energy. I just love it. Thumbs up.
So funny.
Thumbs up. And then my last thumbs up is when we were at the beach, just had 2 weeks living in the same house with my son's families and my 4 granddaughters, and just nothing replaces just being able to spend day-to-day time with them. And I'm just going to insert just a quick little picture of them here. This was on our last night, and I had picked matching outfits for them, not really thinking for the older girls. I like the fabric. It's the blue fabric with fish on it, and they were all at that moment about flower dresses. But they all agreed. I actually didn't say anything. I just tell them when I give it to them, you can wear it if you want. But the moms got all the girls in their dresses on the last night and really encouraged us. And we got a whole bunch of family pictures. And this is just, my granddaughters that live on the East Coast, I probably won't see them again until next spring. So I've had a wonderful time during sabbatical, really spending a lot of time with them. So I'm not going to think about not seeing them for a while. I'm just going to think about the thumbs up of how fabulous it is to spend time with them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It'll be precious whenever it happens.
That's right. All right. So
until next time.
Happy crafting
and stay curious.
Bye, everybody. Bye.